Hi everybody, this is Craig, generally known to most people on the internet as Raven Druid. So, just doing my first DD introduction videos. I think the very first video ever posted to YouTube by me, so okay, this will be fun. I've been in the hobby for probably almost 4 years now. At least the DD side of the hobby. Been kind of collecting dolls for a lot longer than that. We first started with the American Girl dolls just very shortly after Sister Kyoya and I got married. But went with those for quite a while, but they really don't have a whole lot of posabilities. There's not really a whole lot you can do with them. After a while, Sister Kyoya started looking into like the resin BJDs, but I don't know, for some reason those never really struck me all that much. I don't know, I always had a hard time getting into them. Maybe just the hardness of them. Most of the sculpts just never really appealed to me. But eventually we started getting a lot more into the Japanese culture and anime and all of that, and was watching one of the Danny Chu Cultural Japan episodes, and he happened to have a whole bunch of the DDs there showing them off, and I just about pretty much fell in love at first sight. So I started trying to get Sister Kyoya excited about them, and she was vaguely interested, but not really too much so at that point. Till eventually she happened to see one that just really caught her attention. She realized what the possibilities were with this, and I don't even remember which one it was, but finally got her on board with it, because we decided to go the whole custom route for our first ones, partially because it was a lot less expensive, but also just because we wanted something unique to each of us. So yeah, I picked out all the little bits for Yuriko and came up with generally what I wanted for her face-up, and Sister Kyoya did the face-ups for both of our initial ones. She did Tomiyuki and then Yuriko, and actually they both went for probably about 6 months without face-ups. They were still pretty darn cute though. But yeah, I've always been kind of had a thing for red hair, and always been very partial to that. So you can't have a red-haired girl without freckles. So that's how she came around. Anyways, so yeah, that's basically how we got started in the hobby, and then since then our family has just tremendously grown. Most of the kids in our family are generally more or less hers, but I have my 3 here, so yeah, I'll probably add to it eventually somewhat, although not nearly as quickly as she tends to. So yeah, other than DDs, my hobbies aren't all that extensive. A little bit into role-playing games, do a lot of computer games. That's a lot of reading. That tends to be most what my time gets taken up by. A little bit of everything, Victorian times to stuff written, Alice in Wonderland, Jules Verne, all the way up through Neil Stephenson and modern cyberpunk, steampunk, fantasy, sci-fi, textbooks. I don't know, you name it. If it's got words, I'll probably read it. Other than that, not much. Don't really collect a whole lot. I've never been big on figures or anything that just the point of it is just to be decorative or just collect for the sake of collecting. It always has to have either some kind of use or has to be something I can mess with. That's probably another reason I fall into the DDs and the vinyl rather than the resin. That resin just always seems so fragile. It'd be like something you just have to put on a shelf and just leave there and never touch, or something would happen to it. Whereas the vinyl is a lot more forgiving. It's a lot softer, and you can actually play with them and hold them and all of that without having to be constantly paranoid of something chipping or breaking or them just fading. So yeah, it's hard for me to collect much other than just books and books and books and books and books. Really hard time letting go of books. Other than that, what else? Let's see here. Live in the eastern half of Washington State, which I know a lot of people have this idea of Washington State. You know, they think of Seattle and rainy and wet and green and all of that, but on the other side of the Cascade Mountains where we live, it's pretty much a complete desert, and that's what it looks like. So that's where we are, but that's, you know, that's where I've lived ever since I was about 2 in this exact same house, and eventually parents finally realized that they want to get me out of the house. They'd have to move themselves, so not quite, but that's kind of how it ended up. Other than that, what can I say about me? How have they had an impact on my life? Well, it's really hard to quantify. They've had a huge impact on most all aspects of my life, but at the same time, it's not really something you can really put your finger on and say, oh, they did this or they did this. They just sort of wiggled their way into everything, and they're just always there. And I don't know, we haven't been able to have kids of our own, so they've kind of more or less taken that spot. I don't know, it's to the point where I couldn't imagine them not being there. But at the same time, you can't really put any specific thing of this is what they've done or this is what they mean. I don't know, I'll have to think about that one more. That might be its own video at some point. Anyways, it's been really fun seeing all the rest of your guys' videos. I think you've all done a great job. It's been really neat getting able to put both faces and voices now with these names I've read and the words I've read all over the forums. No, I'm not exactly the most active person on the forums, but I definitely do tend to read a lot of this, and I recognize all of your names. And I'll definitely be continuing to keep up on any more videos that any of you guys post. It's been really fun, and it's been fun doing my own and feeling like this is another way I can be out there and participate and show off who we are. So I'm really looking forward to doing some future videos on some more of the topics, maybe getting more in depth into who each of my girls are and seeing more about that with yours, and looking forward to seeing some more guys actually posting videos. It's been really cool seeing everybody, but a little bit nervous being the first and so far only guy to do it, but that's okay. Maybe this will encourage some more to come out of the woodwork. I know they're out there. Anyways, this has been fun, so it's been great talking to you and looking forward to seeing the rest of you. So that was my introduction. Bye.